Rwanda bill. There are some stories.
Speaking of things that never change.
Yes, it's going to be coming back, I believe, next week. The rebels getting their act together. More people, wanting to change it. We've had Robert Jenrick, the former immigration minister, calling for things to be tightened up. There is still now a feeling that the government is they're trying to talk the talk, but they're not willing to walk the walk when it comes to getting these planes off the ground. And we also all know that even if the planes get off the ground, which in principle they should be allowed to do, it's not going to make a blind bit of difference. It's
fiddling whilst Rome burns, ultimately. Yeah. They've decided that this is the big keystone, policy that's really going to persuade the public that they're taking this seriously. Yeah. Everybody knows now the numbers that are involved and that the numbers are not anywhere near the numbers of people who are coming across in the first place. And everybody is aware that Rwanda, that the system in Rwanda is objected to by the Supreme Court on account of UN evidence. Everybody is aware that it's costing an awful lot of money. Everybody is aware that it's just not a functioning system. Even if it does come into play, it's not going to fulfill the role that it is. And I think everybody would prefer it if the government was just honest with people about what would be required to have a functioning way of dealing with illegal immigration into this country. It would be expensive. It would probably be quite, they'd be accused of being the nasty party again, because it would mean incarcerating a lot of people, probably in a large detention centre somewhere on the British mainland. That's what you actually need to do when you have this many people. They're not prepared to do it. They don't want to do it because they are scared of the optics. And that, I'm afraid, government run by focus group and optics and media. Yeah. That's what you get.
And also what their friends... I go on about this a lot, but I can't tell you how much this is a big factor. What their friends at dinner parties think. What somebody who comes up to them in Waitrose has to say.
Oh, it's just
People don't want to do the right thing. They want to be seen to be a nice person.
Exactly.
Now, niceness is all very well, but doing the right thing is more important. The British public have spoken again and again and again and said, we're not happy with this. And, we're about to see, realistically, on the polls, election of a Labour government who don't even seem to have a problem with not just mass legal immigration, but mass illegal immigration. I find it absolutely terrifying how much worse it's going to get. What is fascinating, though, is how much other Western governments are waking up to this. I mean, certainly America, even Biden, criticised Donald Trump, absolutely. We have seen, I think 3 million people have crossed into America from the Mexican border under Joe Biden. I mean, they're still claiming to be, clamping down on this. But most of Western Europe is basically up in arms about this. Eastern Europe have been sensible about it all along, gone, no, thank you, not on our watch.
Yeah.
I mean, something's going to have to be done. But the Rishi Sunak faces a rebellion, not just from the sort of rebel MPs, the Red Wall MPs, saying you've got to deal with this issue and be harder on it, leave the European Court of Human Rights, etc., or certainly ignore those pyjama rulings saying, oh, no, you can't do it at the last minute, tough. France, Italy, Germany, they all ignore those rulings. Why don't we? But also, from the left of the party, the wishy-washy, oh, but, I love the local man who runs my local deli. Isn't immigration great? Who just don't live in the real world of how much it impacts socially and economically on ordinary working people in Britain.
I mean, the Tory party is facing a not dissimilar problem to the one that Labour faced when Jeremy Corbyn was leader, which is that it's two distinct parties now on this issue. Yeah. This is a key issue, and you can't be this divided and expect to win a general election. The Labour Party is being very, as you say, it's appealing to its core by suggesting that it would be fine with mass immigration because mass immigration is nice, but it's also not really saying very much on what it would do with illegal immigration, because if you don't say anything, you can't be criticised for it, whereas the Tories come out with bad policies that cost a lot of money, and of course they get lambasted from both sides. You're right. Actually, most Western governments recognise what's going on. In the United States, it looks very much like Donald Trump might become the president again, in large part because of this furore that they've got on their southern border. But actually, if you compare the numbers that are coming into the United States and then you compare the numbers of people who are coming legally and illegally into this country, they're not that dissimilar. No. It's really concerning, given the massive difference in size.
And it's not going away.